When you think you have reached rock bottom, it's probably going to get worse. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chlorinated Thoughts. Today, I want to be talking about hitting rock bottom, as I feel like everyone goes through that time where they're like, oh my God, I am in rock bottom right now. And you can very easily identify it, I think, because sometimes it can be multiple events that happen in your life. Sometimes it can be one big thing that happens in your life that kind of like, I guess, ruins your life for a while. I am just basically coming off of a time where I really was in rock bottom for a long time, like over a year. I mean, for me, in my training perspective, I was in rock bottom for a very long time. Obviously, when you're in rock bottom, like, and you're coming out of it, you learn a lot and like everything happens for a reason. But I think when you're in the moment, it is sometimes is so hard to see a way out and find a way out. Things you should keep in mind when you are at a low point in your life. We all go through it, and it's something so natural, but I still think it's always so important to emphasize what to do when you are in that moment. So, if you're watching this video and you feel like you're at rock bottom right now, I'm here for you. We are in it together and we are going to help each other get out of this rut. I specifically want to emphasize the space of time that we have between this, rock bottom canon event and the time it takes from getting to that to reaching your goals. And right now, rock bottom is 0 and reaching your goals is 100. I think right now I'm at like 60%. I'm at like 60% of where I've come, but also like 40% away from where I want to be. But like at this point in my life, I feel like I can see like the goal. You know what I mean? Whereas a year ago today, I literally was like, I want to stop swimming. I'm done. Like, this is so stupid. And like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I think compared to that, to see how far I've come since then, I definitely think my mind was making my situation way worse than it had to be. Our mind just takes us into this like spiral. I mean, yeah, it does. And makes our situations that are happening to us like 50 times worse than they actually are. I wish our mind was automatically wired to make situations feel 50 times better, but sadly that's not the case. And we have to actively work towards that. These are the times where the universe really tests your patience. So when you feel like you've reached rock bottom like 50 times already, you don't know, maybe the next time you are given an opportunity to reach your goal, that is going to be the time where everything clicks and the universe is like, she waited for her time and she waited for her goals to be accomplished and she didn't give up. I think when you feel like you've been trying time and time again and it never works, think of that as you being one step closer to achieving your goals. And think of that as being like one step stronger than everyone else in your field that hasn't gone through what you've gone through. Honestly, every adversity that you go through, everything bad that has ever happened to you will and can and will be turned into an advantage for you, because all your other competitors or all your other peers that I guess maybe you're looking for a job, or maybe you are, I don't know, whatever you want to do, that will give you a competitive edge on like, hey, I failed already like 50 times and you've only failed like 4 times. So guess who has more experience and guess who's learned more? The person that failed 50 times. Our mind can warp some things into things that they're not. And I literally had something that happened to me today that like was such a small deal. I mean, it was just stupid, but it's just another example of how our mind can like exasperate. I think it's exasperate. How our mind can exasperate the magnitude of things. Like basically today, I have this assignment due and we have to bring in something impressive into like one of our classes, and we're working in groups, and I told my group I could bring my boyfriend and his Olympic medal, and they were like, oh yeah, that would be so good, like let's do that. Little did I know, the week we have to do this presentation, that is the week that my boyfriend will be gone for NCAAs. That is not my medal. I am not going to just take his medal and show everyone the medal, because one, like an Olympic medal is something so precious that like I totally understand that he doesn't want me walking around with it, and it's not mine, and he wants it to stay in his room, which I totally respect. But then I started freaking out, like, oh my god, what are they gonna say? And like, oh my god, oh my god. So I started like texting in our group chat with the girls and being like, oh, like we can't do this, but I gave them like other ideas of like what we could bring in. And I just was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, no one's replying to me, and they think I'm so stupid, and this is so embarrassing. When in reality, they probably don't think that, and if they do, it doesn't really matter. So it's like something that was such a small situation, I turned into this big deal of, they probably think I'm stupid that I'm spamming our group chat with like a bunch of these other ideas. Like, girl, yeah, because we need an idea. So of course you're gonna spam the group chat. Anyways, I made it into this way bigger deal, and it's funny because I'm like so self-aware about it now, but I still do it, but it's cool because I can actually like catch myself doing it. And like, it's just interesting that I can like recognize these thought patterns, but it like still happens. I don't know. I guess I don't know if that is one step closer to character development, but that's what I do. When you are in this pit and when you dig yourself into this hole, it is really important to look at things from an objective perspective. You are not the person you were anymore before you were put in this adverse situation or before you entered the hole. So don't compare yourself to the person you used to be, because now you have gone through something that clearly had a mental and physical toll on you. You can't compare your results or your well-being to the person you used to be before this thing happened. And I think a lot of the time we like to, I mean, I do, like, I still love to compare myself to the person I was before I had mono, but like you just have to accept and live with the fact that like this happened to you. You may not know why this has exactly happened to you still, but you are now a different person. But also remember that you are now a different person for the better. If you think that you're a different person for the worse, you will be a different person for the worse. But if you start to think I'm a different person for the better and I'm changing for the better, then that's the direction you will be headed. If you're always telling yourself, like, I'm so behind and look at everyone else, well, look, everyone else is not going through what you're going through, okay? So if you're telling yourself all of these things, it's so unfair to yourself, so unfair to the person that is trying to get through this thing that they went through. This was your well-being before. Now this is your well-being. It's so unfair to compare it to this person that you used to be. And trust me, when you get back to that level, you're going to grow even higher and higher and higher. Like, that's not where you're going to stop. Another thing I think that correlates to this is expectations. When I was recovering from mono, I was going to I was going to want to qualify for all of these competitions in the summer. This was before I really realized like how much of a toll like mono had on me. But I was telling my mom, like, I don't know, I like signed up for this competition that was like, I think 2 months or like 3 months away. And I was talking to my mom and she was like, do you think you're gonna be like healthy by then? I was like, yeah, definitely. Guess what? I went to this meet and it was the most horrible swimming I've ever done in my life. And it was because I had this expectation of how I was going to feel 3 months from now. And I didn't fulfill that expectation because my body needed time, more time to heal, more time than I thought. Because I put this expectation on my healing or on my like recovery, I basically like disappointed myself again because I was like, I'm not where I want to be. And it's been like 3 months. Like, what do I do now? I'm so behind and blah, blah, blah. And like, why am I not like recovering and getting better? Maybe it's because you need a break. Maybe it's because you need rest and you need time to take a step back and really just heal. And this can be with anything. This can be with your relationship, this can be with your health, this can be with your career, it can be with anything. Don't put a timeline on your healing. Don't put a timeline on your goals as well at this moment. I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, put a timeline on like how much money you're going to make a year from now." But you're not going to put a timeline on how much money you're going to make a year from now if you're homeless and on the street, because that is a totally different situation than if you're, comfy in your home and you can do everything in your power to make that goal happen. Sometimes you don't have the resources to do so, and really all you need to do is take the next step and find out how to take the next step. Like when you're climbing a mountain, I have a mountain right in front of me right now. When you're climbing a mountain, you see the mountain and you're like, oh my gosh, this mountain is so big. Like, how am I ever going to get up there? And how long is it going to take? And this is going to take forever. Versus you're just looking at your feet and you're just stepping and stepping up to the mountain. By the time you know it, you're at the top of the mountain watching the sunset. Like, the change in perspective is crazy. And also I heard this thing, like, if you actually physically go climb a mountain and look at everything from the mountain, all of your problems are going to seem so much smaller because your physical perspective has changed. Like me looking at the people that climbed the mountain today, they're so small, and like they're so much higher up than me. They see the whole city and everything from a distance, and they're like, wow, maybe my problems aren't really as big as I thought they were. So if you need a change of perspective, go climb a freaking mountain. Literally, like sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you need to go climb a mountain and have your perspective be changed and just sit there and just think and be like, okay, wow, there's bigger fish to fry for sure. Right now, I want you to think of the next step you are going to take in order to feel better just by 1%. Just by 1%. And that is so much easier to do. The next thing I want to talk about is a lot of the time, like, I think right now I'm in this stage of my revenge arc. Right now I'm in the stage of my revenge arc where I see myself every day at practice getting better and better and better. And my times are getting better and better and better at practice. But when I was given the opportunity this weekend to swim at a competition, I don't necessarily think my times that I was achieving in practice reflected how I swam in the competition. I feel like my training times were much better than how I swam at the competition, but also my results in the competition were way better than last year at the same competition. And this is also where perspective comes in. Sometimes the work you are putting in is going to take some time. It's going to take a while for you to actually see the rewards, or for you to actually reap the rewards of the work you are putting in. A lot of the time, I don't think I can explain this, and no one can really explain it, but it's a very good analogy in sport. Sometimes you're training and training and training and training for something, and the results might not automatically be there in the next competition you go to. Sometimes it takes a few years, sometimes it takes a few months, it takes just an extra few steps for that hard work to really like brew and like be ready, to consume. My analogies today are pretty crazy. My metaphors are popping off today. My results should have come by now. Look at everyone else that is achieving stuff. Forget everyone else, please. This is your timeline. We are not following anyone else's timeline. We are following our timeline, and sometimes we don't even know what our timeline is. But if you really just trust in what you are doing and keep working at it, like keep working at it no matter what. And this is really when you fall in love with the process. And I've really found myself falling in love with the process of going to practice and doing these times, because that makes me happy, is seeing my improvement. Maybe not like the whole world is seeing my improvement, but right now I'm seeing it. And I know that the whole world, or the other like my outside world, will reflect that soon enough at a competition. Things literally can change from one week to another. So genuinely, you might feel this way this week, and next week you might feel so much better, or maybe the opposite. And that's why you just cannot go off of what you're feeling. Fall in love with what you are doing to make this dream happen. And even if this dream doesn't come true, there might be 50 other dreams that do come true that you didn't even expect. Like, I'm going to give you guys an example. If I never went through this mono thing, I probably would not have started my podcast back up again. I started this podcast, I think, around 3 years ago now, but I did it off and on and off a lot. Like, I just usually did it when I needed to like give myself some like motivation or like a pep talk. And I was like, when I got mono, I didn't really have much to do. I was just like recovering in my like room. And I was like, okay, I want to like start talking and like start podcasting again. And like now I have 100 Spotify followers. And to me right now, that is a big deal. And I'm growing my YouTube channel. And like, you genuinely don't know where the road takes you. And now I am so consistent with posting, and I am so motivated to post. So it's like, really, you really don't know where this road will take you. Just believe that it is taking you to where you are meant to be, whether that is what you're dreaming of and what you want to do, or whether that is something that you don't even know you want to do yet. So that is my little pep talk for you guys. Trust the process, fall in love with the process, and when you hit rock bottom, you will probably hit it 5 more times. Sorry, that's a pretty bad way to like that's a pretty bad thing to leave you guys with. But genuinely, if you see you're hitting rock bottom again, be happy, because you're one step closer to reaching your dream life. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're listening on any other streaming platform, follow me and rate my podcast, because it will really help me, and it will really help you. If you have stayed till this part of the video, make sure you like. But yeah, that will be it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next week with a new video. Bye!